Today I'm checking out this portable AC unit that was sent to me so I could do the review. Let's get it out of the box, see everything it comes with, and test it out. All right, and this is the portable AC unit out of the box. It comes with the main AC unit itself. It comes with a power plug here. That's a 110 power outlet plug. And it comes with these alligator clips because it can also run on DC power. Now it's rated at 24 volts DC power, but I've done a little bit of testing with it and it looks like it runs on 12 volt or 24 volt. So I'll show you that in just a moment. It's got this plastic adapter here that goes with that hose that lets you either pipe out the hot air, or I believe it lets you push in the cold air. So based upon where you have this AC unit sitting, you can push the cold air through that pipe, or you can push the hot air away from it through that pipe and that adapter. Got the manual, a remote, a drain hose for if there's any water collecting in it, you can drain it out. The screws that go with that adapter so it actually mounts to the unit, and then a little extra plug for the water line. In case you lose the one that's in there, you got another plug so it doesn't leak. So to start testing it, I'm going to use this 110 power plug here and just plug it into AC power so we can look at it, how it runs with AC power. Then after that's done, we're going to try out these alligator clips on some DC power. So when you plug this unit in, either using the AC power cord or the DC power cord, when it gets power, it will show up with these two little dashes here to let you know that it is receiving power. Then to turn it on, you just hit the power button. Now, I was already playing with it earlier and I got the temperature down. I mean, this thing kicks on right away. Ice cold air coming out to start with. It's great. So far, testing this unit, the air has been awesome. I can feel the cold air coming out here. The warm air is piping out the back. I mean, it's doing everything that you would expect for a unit like this. So this is about a 4,000 BTU unit. I think it's a little over, like maybe 4,250, but I'm just gonna say 4,000 BTU unit, which is still a pretty good size unit. That could cool a room in a house, you know, on its own. But to change some of the settings, the mode lets you go between cool, sleep, dry, and fan. Cool is the AC. Sleep is a quieter run of the AC, I guess, to let you sleep with it less noise. Dry is like dehumidifier, and then fan, of course, is just the fan without the compressor or anything running. Drain, it has a place, again, it's got the drain hose, so you can use drain to drain it out. Timer allows you to set a certain amount of time that this thing's gonna run. And then, of course, fan speed that lets you go from high, medium, or low. When you're in one of the cool modes or the dry mode, or actually I think it's cool, sleep, or dry mode, you can set the temperatures. Like it'll blink, and if you can see that there, it's going through the temperatures. So when I first got this unit, this was in Celsius, but if you do look in the manual, it says that if you hold the plus or minus keys together for about 3 seconds, it will change from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if you hold these two buttons down, it will change between Celsius and Fahrenheit, whichever you use. But the cool thing about this is it's a portable AC unit, but it's not just portable with the 110 power. Like you can't just say, oh, I can only use it in the house, or I can only use it when I have AC power. This also will run off of DC power. So you can run this out of your RV or your car or wherever you have batteries. So I'm gonna show you that now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. That way I can let the compressor and everything settle down. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. So we're starting this whole process, but instead of doing it from the AC power, we're gonna do it from DC power. So if you'll notice, I have the AC plug unplugged and it's over here tucked between the batteries and this AC unit, and it's just laying down here. So it is not plugged into AC power right now. Then I have the DC power cables connected. That's these two alligator clips with this red and blue wire. Then I have these two lifetime batteries here. These are my trusty lithium iron phosphate batteries that I use, and this is what I plan on running this AC unit on. I also have my trusty multimeter here so we can look at the different voltages that I'm going to try this on, because I'm going to try this on 12 volt and 24 volt. Now this says it's rated at 24 volts, and that would typically be 2 batteries or one 12 volt battery. But I also saw that it says it will run off of a conventional automotive battery, like a battery in your car? Well, that would be 12 volt here in the US. So all the cars, the RVs, everything, when you go to buy them, unless you have something special, they're all 12 volt. So there's no 24 volt power there. It's all 12 volt power. So the first thing I'm going to do is test this on 12 volts. And then I'm going to test it on 24 volts. As you can see, I've got this really thick black lead wire right here. Well, that is running from the positive of my second battery to the negative of this first battery. So that way, if I touch the two terminals of the batteries, I get 24 volts. But if I do just from this terminal and this terminal, I get 12 volts. So I'm going to try it on both, and we're going to see, does this really work on 12 volt and 24 volt? So the first test I'm going to do is 12 volt, because like I said, it did say that this should run just off of your regular car setup. So I'm going to put these alligator clips on 12 volt and see if it's enough to power this thing up. If it is able to power up this display, we're going to see if it'll run. So this is 12 volt power, and I'll show you that by busting out the multimeter, and I'm going to touch it to the alligator clips. 12.9 volts. That's basically what these are rated. They're 12.8, but when they're fully charged, they've got like 13.3 resting. So that is giving 12 volt power. If you notice here, it's got the two lines. So the control panel is telling me that it can handle 12 volt power, at least to this point. So let's do it. Fan's kicking on. I hear the fan in the back kick on. It's nice and cold, but you know, we just ran it. I do think the compressor kicked on because I feel it vibrating now. It's kind of hard to tell because this is a pretty quiet unit. I mean, really all you hear is the noise from the fan. You really can't hear the compressor. The only thing that you can figure out from the compressor is, you know, that little bit of vibration of that motor in there. Yeah, that compressor's running. Nice cold air. I think they're right. 12 volt power, it'll run on. So it looks like you should be able to just hook this up to your car battery if you had to and run it. Now, it is 500 watts of power. You can't plug this thing in like a cigarette lighter or a 12 volt accessory plug. Way too much power for one of those ports. But if you plug this directly into your car battery, looks like it'll work. There you have it, 12 volt power. That's awesome, because a lot of times you have to specifically label which one. I've seen some other AC units out there that they're either 12 volt, they're 24 volt, or they're 48 volt when it comes to DC, and that is it. They're very strict on that. But this one looks like it can handle 12 volt with no problem. Now let's try 24 volt. All right, so we did the 12 volt test. That seemed to work with no problem. But it is a 24 volt AC unit, so we're going to put it on 24 volts. Because even though it runs on 12 volts, you may not get full capacity out of this AC unit if you're running it on 12. And I mean, I don't know. They did say it works on car battery, so I don't think it's going to hurt it. But if I had 24 volts available, I would run it on 24 volts. But after seeing this, if I had 12 volts available and that was it, I'd run it on that too. I moved these batteries up so you can see I have them in serial. If these were in parallel, you'd have positive to positive and negative to negative, and then that's how you would power it. But if you want to run it in series, you take the positive to negative, and then you would have to run on the posts of the end batteries. So since I have positive to negative, I'm clamping this to positive. I will clamp the negative to the negative on the other battery, and that is basically adding the two voltages together to give me 24 volts. And to test that, I've got, again, my trusty multimeter here, positive, negative, 26 volts. It's exactly what I would expect to see. So let's do it. All right, so I did get a tiny bit of spark, but that's because all the capacitors and everything are trying to pull power pretty quick. Lights are on, so it's handling 24 volt power. Let's go for it. Fans are kicking on. Fans on in the back. Oh, and there I feel some vibration. Looks like the compressor's kicked on. Again, ice cold air coming out of here. That is nice, man. This is, if you had this in a tent or in your RV, or let's say you got a, I don't know, a van life thing going on, this would be so awesome to have in your van, especially if you don't have any AC normally. But yeah, your tent camping, Now you're glamping. This is awesome. And then, like our RV, we have 2 AC units on our big fifth wheel. We didn't go with the 3 units on ours. So this would be an awesome supplement unit if we get into a situation where it's just super hot and we need that extra AC cooling. I could always just add this to cool it down. We only bought 2 AC units because the third option was pretty expensive, and we usually do not seek the heat in the RV, so we're always camping in places where we're getting away from the heat. So 2 was more than enough, but man, having this as a third option makes it just that much cooler. Plus our off-grid cabin. We don't even have AC in our off-grid cabin because it's up in the mountains, but there are definitely days where it gets a little bit warm and we wish we had some AC just to bring it down a little bit. This would easily do that in our 600 square foot cabin. Man, I love it. I definitely like it. I think you will too. I hope this information was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care.